Welcome, everyone, back to Random Stupid Shit with Ken Snow and Shell. Yeah, we got an all-timer tonight for you. Hey, Shell, yeah, are you with me this evening?
I am. Good day. How are you to do it?
I'm doing all right. Hey, we're actually, let's just let everybody know we're recording this at 3 a.m. in the morning. Woo!
Midday for me, midday.
Midday. Get all you night owls out there. Bring y'all in.
Yes.
So, first thing we want to talk about was we're going to throw out some numbers and just say that we got some interesting numbers this week. We got people in New Zealand listen to us.
Well, holy cow. That's cool.
Canterbury's New Zealand. They listened to episode 7 and episode 8. You would have thought they would have listened to the Wombat Square Shit because they have wombats down there.
No, they don't.
Well, they don't have them in New Zealand? They got them in Australia.
No, they're Australia.
Oh, okay.
Well, hold on. I'm going to have to go check that out. I don't think there's no square shitters in New Zealand.
No square shitters in New Zealand?
No.
There might be. I mean, who knows? So,
checking it out.
Shell and I, of course, this is our season finale for season 1, but we have a special guest tonight, and we want to bring him in and talk to him about some random stupid shit. Welcome, everybody, to Ray. Ray, are you with me? Can you hear me, Ray?
You tell people to call in and tell us a story, and then you cut them off.
Then you cut me off.
And then you cut him off.
Cut him off. What the hell?
Well, that's probably because we really didn't want to. We really didn't want to hear any random stupid shit. Hey, Ray, how are you doing, brother?
Got our own stupid shit.
I'm doing good. If you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. We all got you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There we go. All right.
All right.
Play with fire.
All right. So, hey, Ray. So
yes.
What's going on in Ray's life? You got any pet peeves for us? You got anything that really kind of gets on your nerves?
You know what? I got the most stupidest pet peeve you could probably ever imagine in life.
Oh, tell us about it.
Okay, here it is. You know the straws that come into the like Coke and Pepsi where you get like at McDonald's and all that? And you know those straws? So I have a little pet peeve. I take my straw, open it up, and I put it into the pop. I take one sip out of it, then I take the straw, flip it over, and put it the other way. I've done it for years. Yeah, that's some random stupid stuff.
I was sitting there thinking, what was it? What did he just say?
What?
What?
I don't even see a reason for it. There's reasons for my pet peeves.
So explain that to us again. What is it you do?
Okay.
You take
this
a straw.
Is what I do. I take a straw. Like you get a straw at McDonald's. You get a Coke at McDonald's. I get a Coke. I put it down in front of me. I'll take the straw, put the straw in, and take a sip. I take that straw out, flip it around, and put it back in. So I'm using the other side of that straw. And I keep it that way.
It's like a double dipper.
Kind of.
Like at parties, do you double dip on the chips?
Exactly my point. See, you got it. Because I have two older brothers. I had two older brothers that used to always take my soda, and they used to always drink my soda.
So yeah, I get it.
Started flipping the straw around. They never drank that. Ooh, you got your germs inside that soda? You
got the soda. Yes, I understand that.
Well, that kind of makes sense when you explain it that way.
Yeah, I never had a chicken leg until I was 18. Yeah.
Okay, so that's some random stupid stuff that I do. That's a pet peeve of mine. Just a stupid pet peeve of mine. I don't think there's a person in the world that does that, but I do.
All right, Shell. Hey, you got a pet peeve for us?
Well, I don't like my spoons have always got to be turned down. It just bugs me when they're not. Even when you put them up, they got to be turned upside down.
So the scoop part facing down.
Facing down, because when they dry, they got to dry that way so they don't get that little spot in the center, you know. So you lay them out, and then you got to put them up that way so they don't collect dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right.
So that's one. That's one.
That's one. Oh, you got more.
Oh, I've got a lot. I've got a lot of quirks. A whole lot of quirks. But yeah, some of them I just don't even want to tell people about. So yeah. What's yours, Ken?
All right. All right. I really only have one pet peeve, and it involves driving. My pet peeve is if I go to merge, or if I'm driving down the expressway and I come up to an exit and somebody is merging on, it is not my responsibility to let you in or out. If I'm going 70 miles an hour, it's your job to figure out, are you going to speed up and get in front of me? Or are you going to slow down and get behind me? It's not my job to slow down. That's not how you merge. And that is
I've drove with you.
That is the biggest pet peeve I have.
Inconsiderate driver.
That's biggest pet peeve I have. People are like, they're driving along and they're expecting you to slow down. What the fuck am I slowing down for? You need to step on the gas pedal. Yeah, you need to step on the pedal and get in front of me, which I don't care. Step on the pedal and get in front of me. Or you need to slow down and get behind me. But I ain't getting over, and I ain't slowing down. I ain't changing my speed. I'm right here. That's my pet
people's
peeve.
merging skills are very bad. Their driving knowledge is bad altogether. Yes, I agree with that. I don't like it when you let people get in front of you and they don't wave you, give you a courtesy wave. That aggravates me. Yeah.
Or they pull in front of you and then they slow down.
I don't care about that. That means they're more irritated than me, and I think it's funny.
Yeah, that irritates me though, especially when I'm trying to do the straw flip, because I can't drink a Coke unless I do the straw flip.
How many times have you gotten your pants wet where the Cokes went between your leg and your lap?
So many times. But I still can't drink one. I can't drink one unless I flip that straw.
Remember
just
when they
I
used
know
to
it's
make
safe
the
then.
Cokes? They made the Cokes out of the styrofoam, so you could put a hole in a Coke really easy.
Yes.
To where you sit there and they'd get squeezed between your legs when you put your brakes on real fast because somebody didn't know how to merge, stuff like that.
So
And
we're combining pet peeves now.
Going to work, and I squished one, and I went to throw it out my window, but my window was up, so it come back and splashed on me. It was one of those big 64 ounces too.
I've seen people do that, go throw stuff out the window and the window be up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Done that.
Yeah.
So Ray, you got
ever been on fire driving?
Have I ever been on fire? Once.
Been on fire
I literally
driving?
once. Yeah, while I was driving, I was on fire.
Let's hear your story, Ray.
Yeah.
This sounds good.
All right, here it is. All right. So my dad was a culprit of my fire stories, plenty of them. Here it is. So the time that I started on fire, I was driving. I was 16 years old. My dad is a smoker. This is back in the day. So this wasn't before. This was before the whole smoking's bad. No, this is when you can smoke on live TV and everything. So he was smoking a cigarette, and he had the window down, and he told me to take a left. Well, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I started turning right. And he goes, "Oh, left." So I turned hard left. And when I turned hard left, his cigarette landed right between my legs.
Yeah.
And by the time I realized that it landed between my legs, I was on fire. You want to know why I was on fire? Because I had remember those old-fashioned nylon sweatpants? Those little fuzzy ones that always had fuzz on them? I was in flames within seconds. And I'm telling you, it's the first car accident that ever happened in my life was me hitting.
Oh, you wrecked.
I hit the mailbox pole. I hit that bad boy and stopped the car. I was running out. My dad's trying to beat me into my midsection there, and I don't know what to do. I'm beating myself, and let's just say that
your man parts are getting burned.
They were getting burned. I said, I'm going to not have kids. This is going to cause me not to have kids. It's starting to get to my underwear. And it literally burnt off my entire sweatpants on the top half. So my dad,
so you just had the fuzzy top.
Yes. So my dad, classic tots, classic. He looks at me and he goes, "Well, at least you still have your nuts." And I'm like, "Thanks, Dad." I didn't have third-degree burns or anything, but yeah, that was probably the scariest time I've ever had. Well, not the scariest time I've ever had with fire.
You move very fast when you're on fire. You move very fast when you're on fire. Yeah, you're the $6 million man when you're on fire. I've been there. Know that one.
Yes, man. Yes, man. When you're on fire and you don't know what to do, you hit a telephone pole or like I did. I hit a mailbox pole, but you just hit a mailbox pole. That's all. Hey, all you listeners out there, please do not try none of this stuff at home. But hey, if you do start on fire inside of a car, there is going to be a mailbox pole somewhere. It might stop you, and you can get out and just beat the hell out of yourself. And I mean that in all the good ways and not the bad ways. I'm telling you guys, fire and me just.
I love fire, but I've had a lot of bad incidents. I was driving on the expressway, and it was a cigarette, caught my shoe on fire, and it goes up in big flames, and I'm trying to, on the expressway going 75 then, and I'm sitting here trying to put my foot out. So that one was interesting. Then
chariots of fire going down the highway.
Yeah, how many times have you done it in your pocket and your pocket catch on fire and you know there's smoke somewhere? Yeah, a lot of my shirts have holes in the pocket.
Yeah, cigarettes can cause a few of the fires that I've been around in my lifetime, but the biggest fire stories that I could possibly tell, I've done it all with fire in my younger years. Yes. When I was younger, in my teenage years, fire and me used to get along all the time. But here's the thing. When you're in Minnesota, you can only play with fire for at least 3 months out of the year. Other than that, it's wintertime, and it's cold, and fire doesn't really do much. So when we had the opportunity to play with fire, we did. And that's why I tell all your listeners to try not to do this at home. So up in being a teenager, about 19 years old, we decided that we were going to have a bonfire. And we're sitting around a bonfire. Bonfires are always fun. Everybody's having a good time. And we're underage, but we're around parents. You know, parents are inside the house when we're outside. And so we decided to, back then, we decided to take a little sippy from the, liquor cabinet. And we're getting drunk. Until one of us, not me, actually, it was me. I can't even disguise that. It was me. I said, I wonder what oil does with fire. And everybody knows that it starts on fire. But I'm wondering, in this empty bottle, because back then you drank long necks. And if nobody knows what a long neck is, a long neck is a tall glass bottle. And that's what you drink beer out of back then. I wonder what this would do. So we put some used WD-40 in this bottle. And now we didn't fill it up because we knew that it could start on fire. But we were curious what we would get out of it. So we take this bottle, we put it 3/4 full, and my brilliant mind, I think I'm an engineer. I'll get a little fan for it, we'll put it up in the fire like this, we'll get it going straight up in the air. And by the way, we are 19 years old and we had a case of beer. So we are like, we are like 3 sheets in the wind right now. And I should never, ever.
Redneck.
Yes, I was. And that's the thing. Where I lived was way out in the boonies. So this wasn't like unnormal. This was, bonfires were normal out there. But I wanted a big bonfire. I wanted just to see what it would do. So here we are. We got the oil in the bottle. My friends are around me. Who's going to put it in the fire? I'll put it in the fire. Ray, he sticks his hand up right away. I'll put it in the fire. So I'm going to go put it in the fire. I put it in the fire. And we're looking at it. And it's bubbling. And next minute, it goes up in the air. Big fireball goes up in the air because, just popped out of the bottle. And a big fire. Ooh. It's like fireworks for us. Ooh. But what we didn't realize is that when the fire starts dying out and the oil that's already still in, eventually the wood that we based our platform on is going to burn.
Well,
so it burned down, and the bottle tipped over in the fire. Now, this is a bottle with oil in it. And
so
when
now
that
your
bottle
brother
tipped
looks like
over in that
Hellraiser.
fire, I'm looking at it straight in the dead eye. And I look at my best friend next to me, and I tell him, oh, shit. And he goes, yeah. And we saw the biggest flamethrower you ever saw in your entire life come shooting out of that bottle. And it was not stopping. We ducked, rolled. We cuddled next to each other, rolling on the ground while we have flames coming out of this bonfire that's going about 20 feet from the bonfire, and it looks like a flamethrower. Everybody in the world's coming out of the houses now. Now we got the parents coming out. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And next thing you know, the tree, the big old oak tree that we have standing there, is on fire. And all me and my best friend could do is sit there and look at each other and go, oh, man, was that cool? We got to try that again. And yeah, that did not happen. But do not try that at home. Definitely do not try that at home, because
y'all are not disfigured. That bottle should have exploded.
Well, there was a lawn chair that was broken. Yeah, I was looking at this thing dead in the eye, and I saw it tip. And the minute it tipped, I looked over at my buddy and said, oh, shit. And when the shit part came out, I decided that, oh, shit. And I started seeing flames. I dove to the right, lawn chair and all. And I'm not a small guy. I'm kind of a big guy. So lawn chairs back then, they were kind of skinny for skinny people. I'm not a skinny person. That lawn chair was coming with me. I had that thing glued to my butt. And I broke every leg on that thing trying to get away from that fire. But heck, that wasn't the first time. That wasn't the first time. That was the first time, actually. That wasn't the last time, I should say. Because we did it again. But this time we thought we were doing it the right way. And honestly, we did. Now, this was the last time we ever did this. We decided to take a bottle, long neck bottle. We had a metal. The problem is, when you're 20 years old and you want to show people, hey, we've done this before, we can do this again, this is going to be real cool. Well, I just don't think it's going to be real cool, because we sat there and we put the bottle in the metal case. But the thing is, it wasn't metal. It was aluminum. Okay, we didn't know that at the time. Yep, we didn't know that at the time, though. So we got this bottle with the richest, thinnest oil you can buy. I mean, we're gonna make this thing. We're gonna do it right. We got 5W30 oil. I mean, this stuff is like liquid gold, and we're gonna have a flamethrower going up in the air this time, because we know what's gonna go on. And we're all around this. There's about 20 of us around this one, and me and my buddy, we're the ones that set this up, and we got it going on. We think we're all that in a bag of chips, and it's kind of like weird science. And we're sitting there, we're relaxing. We got we got the beers in our hands and everything. Oh, everybody, we got this going on. So we got 20 people there. Well, we got the stand going. It starts doing its thing. It starts shooting a little bit of flames out as it gets a little hotter. It shoots a little ball of fire, and everybody's like, oh, that's way cool, man. That's way cool. Yeah, that's way cool. Wait until we get a little bit more oil around the sides of it. It'll start really going. Well, my buddy didn't tell me he had this thing in aluminum frame. And the aluminum frame started melting. But what he didn't realize is that the chain that we had the stand on was made out of steel. But the bracket was made out of aluminum. So it was melting, but the chain wasn't. So the chain was connected to the bottle, and it was just melting onto the bottle. The fire wasn't hot enough to melt the glass, but it was hot enough to melt the oil in it was shooting out. And next thing you know, I looked at my buddy, and my buddy looked at me, and I said, I think we need to leave right now. He goes, why is that? And I go, this thing's going to start spinning. And he goes, no way. And we looked over. The minute we said that, there it is. We don't have a flamethrower now. We got a spitting oil flying everywhere, fire flying everywhere. We started, out of the 20 people that are standing around there, we started 15 of them on fire. And you should have saw us running around. we were running around like we were cockroaches. We were running everywhere. We had to run. And trying to put out 15 fires because we're stupid idiots and we decided to do doing stupid stuff. That's what stupid stuff is. We started this thing and we didn't have no idea what we were doing. So I say to you, there is no way that I would ever do this again in my lifetime is put oil in a bottle and put it on a fire. And if anybody out there does this, I'm not held responsible. The podcast is not held responsible. You are all on your own. That's risky stuff. Because, I'm telling you, we started fires. But that's a few of mine. I mean, that's just the two that I have right there for bonfires that I did with oil. But see, I always had this thing for fire. I've always had a thing for fire. Everybody used to call me the pyro. And one of the main things that I loved when I was a teenager, and this is before the oil cans, my oil stuff. This was back when I used to mess with fire with gasoline. And I was with my neighbor at the time. We were starting this little fire, and, I had it in the barbecue pit. Just a little pit. Back in that days, we made barbecue pits, and I had it in a little pit here, and it was cool. It was good, but it wasn't big enough for me. So something else you don't try at home. I decided to go get the gas can because I want a bigger fire. I want the biggest fire you could possibly have. Yes, I want a big fire. I want the biggest fire you can have. But I don't want it too big where my mom and dad get mad at me. So I picked up this gas can and I said, well, I'm just going to put a little gas on it. I'm not going to put a lot, just a little bit. Well, I'm not thinking in my head, I'm just going to pour the gasoline on it with the whole gas can and everything. Well, I didn't realize that the minute I grabbed that gas can and I'm pouring a little bit of gas on it, it's going up in flames. I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And then I look and the gas can's on fire. I took this gas can. I did not know that.
You didn't play with fire enough when you was young, or you'd have known that.
No. So I'm sitting there looking at this thing, and I raised the gas can up to my eyes, and I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, I am the stupidest SOB there is, because what am I going to do with this gas can? And just like what you said before, when you're on fire, you run fast. Well, guess what I did? I threw that damn gas can. I kept throwing the gas can. I started my neighbor on fire by throwing that gas can. He's on fire, looking at me. His pants are all on fire. My grass has fire all over it. The gas can's still on fire. I'm looking around like I'm not on fire, but now I got to put out all these fires. So the first fire I need to put out is my neighbor, who is on fire. I tell him, get down and roll. He gets down, he can't roll fast enough. I go grab a big old cardboard. I put it over his legs, and I start jumping on his legs. And I jumped on him, and I jumped on his legs, trying to get this thing out. I beat the hell out of his leg. I actually broke a leg because I was jumping on it.
Because you're not a little guy.
My neighbor's legs. I'm not a little guy, and I wanted that fire to be going. So while he's in pain, so while he's in pain, laying on the ground, he's in pain, going, "What the hell are you doing to me?" And I'm like, "I'm putting the fire out." He goes, "Get the gas can." I'm like, "Where's the gas can? You threw it over there." So I go over there. I run over to get the gas can. I pick up the gas can. The gas can's still on fire. What am I going to do with this? I don't know. I'm going to do something with it. It's going to explode. What? It's not going to explode. It's going to explode. What do you want me to do with this thing? And I didn't have a clue what I did. You know what I finally did with that thing? I put the gas can down, and I pissed all over it. That's what I did. I peed all over that gas can to put out that flame. I peed all over that gas can. I mean, I never had to go to the bathroom in my life until I had to go to the bathroom with that gas can because that scared the piss out of me. Because I started my neighbor on fire.
I remember grabbing a gas can because the flames were coming to the gas can, and it was one of those old metal ones, lawnmower ones, that it would have exploded if it got in there. So I remember grabbing it because my son was right there, and I took off running. And I mean, the flames were actually following me. I mean, up in the air, just following me. And I look like an Olympic sprinter. I mean, I hurdled a fence and all, just run and jumped it like a hurdle that quick.
Wow.
But then my brother caught me on fire in the top of a tree, because we used to get in a tree and burn out caterpillar nest. And he spilt the whole gallon of gas down the tree. And I was up at the top of the tree, so I couldn't get out. I had to play like Rocky Bullwinkle and take off, and I thought I could fly if I put both my arms and legs out. But it was about 50 feet up. I don't know how I made it, but I went between two chain link fences. Yeah. And then my old man caught me on fire throwing plumber's glue in a fire. And I had my nice jacket on, and it caught my whole sleeve on fire, and I took off running again. Just to keep my hair, to keep my hair out of my arm until I got patted out. But yeah, you're definitely running faster. Yeah. Then when the nuns see me catch the church on fire, I really ran fast that day, because that's another pet peeve. Nuns. Oh my gosh. They're bad. They're mean.
You started a church on fire?
Yeah. It was an accident, and that was the only time I really ever gotten hurt by fire. Was that? But I was an altar girl, and I was up there and I was lighting the candles, and I put the match in the book too quick, and then the whole book caught on fire, and I'm sitting there trying to hold it, and I drop it, and the church just got brand new carpet and everything. Of course, I ruined it because it caught the carpet on fire, and them nuns, they just thought I was the devil. The rest of the next 4 years. I was the devil. Them penguins, they'd always call me the little devil, because I caught the church on fire.
Dang. My dad had a lawnmower, and I remember this. I was a kid back then, and my dad's going around, and it was an old lawnmower. I mean, this is one of those big old lawnmowers. Back then you bang with a hammer to get it running, kind of thing. Yeah. And he got this thing running, and he's loving his lawnmower. It's a riding lawnmower, first riding lawnmower ever. And this is in the 80s, and he's going around corners, and he's just scooting around. And about halfway through his trip, he gets close to the house, and the windows are all open in our house. And actually, I was downstairs at the time. And my mom, all I could do was hear my dad yell, "Fire! Fire! I need water! I need water! I need water!" And I'm like running up there, and I run outside, and I'm like, "Oh, Mom, Dad, you got the lawnmower on fire. How did you get the lawnmower on fire? I need water." And he starts yelling at my mom to bring out water. "I need water. I need water." Now we got this entire lawnmower is on fire. I mean, it's like a bonfire and a half. And my mom comes out and gives my dad a cup of water. My dad looks at this cup of water. "What in the hell is this cup of water for?" My mom looked at him and said, "You need water." "I don't need water. It's on fire." And my mom looked over and went, "Oh, shit. It's on fire." Here, my dad. I love my dad. My dad did the dumbest thing in the world. So he put for an oil filter, he made one out of a can, a pop can. Back then they made them out of tin. And he made a filter out of this, because that's how much of a redneck he was. He made a filter out of this pop can. Well, we didn't understand how that all started on fire so fast. But when a couple days later, we understood that he was leaking gasoline all through the yard, because now in the yard we have a complete circle of dead grass. And it looked like a giant circles of dead grass because he was leaking gas all the way through. But I will never forget that fire. My dad throwing that fire out there like that. And my mom coming out there with a cup of water. "Well, you said you needed water." "I don't need water. The gate, it's on fire." "Oh, that's on fire." I had all that stuff out there. But fire is not that far away from, I don't know about you, but I had kids, and there's only one time in my life that I caught my kids playing with fire. And I knew what fire could do, because this is when I'm much older now, and I knew what fire could do. So I have a camper, I have a barbecue pit, and I have a neighbor who just put up this beautiful fence. I mean, this fence was so beautiful. I'm telling you, it was red oak. It was stained. Beautiful. And I have my little thing, I make sure that I don't. Yeah, it was just beautiful. And I have my little barbecue pit right there. And so I'm coming home from work, and I pull up in the driveway, and I see my kids playing with my barbecue pit. Well, from the time that I played with my barbecue pit when I was a kid, I knew exactly what they were doing. They're playing with fire. So I walked up and said, "What are y'all doing?" And they said, "Oh, Dad, we're not doing nothing, Dad. No, we ain't doing nothing, Dad. No, we ain't doing nothing, Dad." And I said, "You know what? You're all doing something. I know you're all doing something. What are you doing? Stop playing with fire. I know you're playing with fire." And they go, "Oh, yeah, just a little bit." Well, okay, that's fine. Just don't play with fire anymore. So we all go to bed that night. At 2:30 in the morning, I'm being woken up by my wife telling me that my camper is on fire. And I looked at her and I said, what the hell did you smoke? Because I need some of that shit. If you're smoking that, my camper's on fire at 2:30 in the morning, woo, that's some good stuff. She goes, "No, Ray, your camper's on fire." I said, "Nah, you bullshit me." I walked out there and I got the camper on fire. My entire camper is on fire. My beautiful neighbor's fence is on fire. Everything is on fire. And I'm like, OMG. Neighbor runs out and says, "I've already called the fire department." I'm like looking at him like, oh my, what caused this fire? Fire department comes, they take out the fire, they put out the fire and everything, and they're doing their little investigating. They go down underneath my camper and they find a piece of wood. And they said, "This is your cause of your problem." And I said, "Oh, that is." And he goes, "Did you have any kids playing with fire today?" And I go, "Yes, I did." And like a parent I am, I go walking in and I don't wake up the kids. I grab them by their ankles and I start pulling them out so the fire department can talk to them. And that's how it happened. They've never played with fire ever since because I drug them out. I put them right in front of the police. I told the police to go ahead and arrest them. Well,
how old were they?
They were 10 years old.
You got to imagine the lighter at age 5, so they know. So they know.
So we can have a control fire.
Son doing that. Yeah, I had a wood burning stove. That's how we heated the house, and he'd go out and collect all the wood when he was 2 years old. He'd go walking around. He loved playing with fire. Every time he come around. Yeah, you got to teach them to play with fire when they're young. I remember one time when we were young, we used to think we could walk through fire, so we poured gas just on the ground, and we'd walk through it, and it wouldn't burn you because it was just burning the gasoline and fuel. But one time, my brother, he poured it over this hole, and we didn't know that was a gardener snake den. So while this whole little patch is on fire, there's probably 100 gardener snakes crawling out on the yard. And we started grabbing them and lassoing them. We had all these snakes on a rope. Tell you about the snakes hanging from the apple tree. We had them hanging off from the apple tree, freaking her out. But yeah, there could be up to 500 snakes in one little den. Yeah. And I know we caught 50 to 100 that day. And it was just the funniest. I remember that day just as clear as could be. That was funny.
Now that's funny. That is funny.
And it's
yeah, and the one thing is that we have up in Minnesota, there's a lot of bonfires, and I have a cousin that was going for the world record of bonfires, and literally, I think if he had the Guinness World Record out there, I think he would have won. So we were headed up north. And it's a fall, so it's chilly. And the further you go in Minnesota north, the chillier it is because it's just beautiful up there. You got the northern lights. I mean, it's just beautiful up there.
I watched Little House on the Prairie. I know they got some rough winters.
That's actually, that's in the southern part of Minnesota, a little house on the prairie was. But yeah, there are big woods. And so we're up there, and he has his entire cornfield all, it's all down and everything. And I look at him, I said, what is that pile doing? I mean, you got a pile. I mean, he had a pile. I mean, he says he's been collecting wood for a year. And I'm like, dude, are you really going to set that entire thing on fire? And he goes, yeah. I go, that's going to be like the sun. I mean, this thing is 17 feet high, 22 feet in diameter. So it's that round, 22 feet around in the midsection, 22, 22, 22. And it has no casing. It's in the middle of the field. And it's 17 feet high. And it's like built in like a TP way. And I'm like, there is no way that we're going to have this thing start a fire. We're not going to start a fire, this big fire that everybody in the world could see. My cousin, he went for the Guinness Book of World Records. He decided to start this fire.
As long as it's stacked properly, it'll burn.
Oh, yeah, it burned. It burned so well that we had fire engines there. They didn't do nothing about it. They said, oh, that's a pretty good fire. But here's the thing. The fire engine was there because we called them, not because of the fire. Because the fire was so hot, it was melting the shingles on the house that was 75 yards away from the fire. We couldn't even get next to the damn fire. So we couldn't even watch the fire. And all the fire trucks there would sit there and go, hey, that's a pretty cool looking fire. And we're like, hey, can you douse our house with water? They're like, oh, just use a garden hose. Because they wanted to teach us, no, you can't just have a fire like that and you're not going to be paying for it. We paid for it. This entire left side of the house. This entire left side of the house, the shingles were all melted off the left side of the house.
Oh, wow.
And there was a shed that was closer to it, and that shed was melting. I mean, it was melting. The metal was melting, and he wanted to get something out of this shed. So us brilliant people, us brilliant rednecks, think that we're going to go out there with a shield and with shorts on, and we're going to walk. And now the shed's only about, the house was 55 yards away. This shed was probably about 30 yards away. It wasn't that close, but it wasn't that far away. And so we're going to go out there with a shield. What we used for a shield was a garbage can lid. We thought that would be enough. Hell to the no, that was not enough. My eyeballs burned. My eyeballs were burning. My sweat was just drizzling. I was so hot. And I said, whatever you got in that shed, it's melting. I guaranteed it's melting. And he looked into the shed. He goes, I need to get it. Yes, we did.
Your teeth all stuck to your teeth. Your lips stuck to your teeth.
It was like that. Fire. Yeah. The original version all came to. No, then the thing is that took a week to get that fire down to where you can actually go next to it. It was so hot. Unbelievably hot, that fire. And it wasn't even unpleasantable. He just said, I wanted to make the world record fire. And I mean, we love fire. I mean, I love fire, and I've done some stupid stuff with fire, and I've done some stupid things with fire. And I think that the oil can was one of the stupidest things I ever did. But there's one story that I didn't even tell anybody about. And it's ready to come out now. So back in the day, I was probably in my 20s. This is after the oil and everything. I never had a problem out there in the country. We burn a lot of our garbage, and we never had a problem with it. And what you can't burn is you can't burn aerosols and stuff like that. And I knew this.
Big lighters.
But the woman I was dating, you just can't burn that stuff. You can burn the papers, stuff, biodegradable stuff. You can burn all that. And so I'm dating a woman. And I tell her this is the burn pile. We burn this garbage. This garbage doesn't get burned. This gets thrown away. she got them confused, and she didn't tell me. So I'm out there, and I throw a garbage bag into the pit fire, into the barrel, and the barrel has all these holes in it. And I'm sitting there throwing it in there, and I got the fire going pretty good. And next thing you know, what is that sound? All I hear is a and I'm like, what in the hell is that sound? I did not run. I went to find out what that sound was. So I'm getting closer to the barrel, and I'm like, oh, hell no. She used to use hairspray all the time. So she had 4 cans of hairspray in there.
That's a missile.
I looked down, and the minute I looked down, I had 4 missiles coming out of a barrel. And I was tuck, duck, and roll is all I could do. I mean, there was more stuff coming out of that barrel. It was like shooting bullets coming out. And I haven't been more scared in my entire life until that time. And that was the last time I actually burned anything in a barrel. Because I said I would never do it again. Because it scared the living daylights out of me. Because those things they go everywhere. They just don't go.
Well, you had your pants burned off. You probably had a big fear. After
I did.
Yeah, I can see
after that, I never really got close to fire. After that, I never really got close. I always had an interest in it, but the minute I started feeling that feeling like when we had the oil can and the oil started spinning, I said, OMG, I said, I got to get out of here. And no, because when I had my pants on fire, when my dad said, I tell my dad, you set my pants on fire when I was 16 years old. And he always used to tell me, well, you wrecked my car. And I said, because I was on fire. Do you understand? I was on fire. Well, yeah, but at least you didn't get my seats on fire, that's for sure.
Well, if you knew you left or right, you wouldn't have been on fire. Left, right, port, starboard.
It didn't matter which way I was going, I was on fire. And that was the only time that I actually was on fire was that one time. That's the only time that I've ever been on fire.
My dad would get those jumping jack fireworks, the ones you light like a firecracker, and they just bounce and spin and go any direction. You don't know which way they're going. My dad would get those. Yes, we'd all be sitting on the back porch. My dad would get a whole pack of them and light it and throw it up on the porch just to watch us all scatter. He just thought that was the funniest thing. But I forgot all about the time I nailed that one spinning firework to my brother's shed, and it didn't spin, and it caught the shed. I remember that now. But we used to throw lighters in each other's fire just to scare, because they would just pop and burst, after a few minutes. So you would be able to throw it in there and leave.
See, that's the stuff that's just crazy. We used to do that in college. Throw beer cans into the fire. And me, I'm all about fire back then. You're drinking out of a beer can, and you take a beer can that's full, slip it in the fire. We'll see how fast these people run. Because he used to always put the keg next to the fire outside. And I was like, man, this line's too long. I remember my cousin. I went to a party with my cousin. And we went to a college party. And we're there. We're having a good time and everything. And I'm like, man, this line is long. And he's the one that taught me that trick. He goes, you want this line down? I go, yeah. I'd like to, grab a beer or something. Okay. Give it about 10 minutes. This line's going to be gone. Oh, okay. I don't know how you're going to do that, but okay. All right. So I'm just sipping on a beer. He goes off, does what he needs to do. He comes back and he goes, okay, got your glass? And I go, yeah. And he goes, here's another glass. And I go, okay, well, I got 2 glasses. I don't even know if I can get 1 glass. You got about 7 minutes. I'm like, what did you do? He goes, just wait. You'll see. He put an entire 12-pack of beer in the bonfire. Those things blew the hell up. We had everybody that was in front of us in line and everybody around us running with their heads because he said, just stand still. We're good. I put them facing the opposite direction. And I'm like, are you shitting me? He goes, no. They started flying out of there. All 12 of them start just flying. People scattering everywhere. Me and him are over there by the keg filling up our glasses. I said, yeah, that was a smart idea. I won't forget that because these people were pissed. I mean, we had beer. If you ever put a beer can full in a fire, you need to take cover. I don't know why we didn't take cover, but you need to take cover. To all your listeners out there, don't try it at home. I'm telling you, don't try it. If you do, take cover because you don't know where that's going to go because it does shoot out of there in a hurry. And I mean in a hurry. Something about beer cans. If I did it with a pop can, it didn't really do it. But with beer, it did it. I think it was the yeast or something in there, some chemical in there or something, but it came flying out of there.
It's the pressure, and then it starts to bubble, and then it explodes. Is pretty much what it does, and it goes to the weaker point, which is the cap, and that's the way it's gonna go that way. Yeah, because we used to line them up and do that, just like that, where it would be like pew, 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 pew. We'd line them up because we'd have those tequila Saturday nights, and we always had a big old bonfire going because I lived back, I didn't really have neighbors except for the Vietnam guy, and that was fun. Anytime you had anything explode, and he'd get out there and start doing his night maneuvers, and that was always entertaining, free fun. But yeah, we always had a fire and had that stuff just lined up. Well, let's hear another pet peeve then. Only one, huh?
Yeah, only one.
Only one. One pet peeve, didn't play with fire. Wow.
Yeah. So all this time, you're listening to us tell us our stories about fire. You're like, oh my, y'all grew up in a house that I don't even understand.
No, I understand because I've lived with it for 40 years now. I understand completely. I'm just saying that wasn't my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I understand.
Me and my brother we'll still pull up beside each other's car and not know the other one know you're there, and we'll pile all our garbage in the other one's car and then take off. So we've always messed with each other like that.
I started my cousin on fire with a Roman candle.
No, we didn't play. We didn't play with fireworks. We didn't play with fire. We didn't play with fireworks. We didn't do none of that.
Yeah, you take a Roman candle and you put too close to somebody.
Snakes and sparklers.
Yeah, that's all we had.
Snakes and sparklers.
Snakes and sparklers. That was it.
And put the lotion on its skin. So it don't get the hose again.
It's okay. You know what? Out of all those fire stories that I told you, I love that I lived it. I wish I would have done some things different, but I do not have a single fire scar. I have no burn damage done to me whatsoever. I've come close with the oil.
What about the hairspray?
The hairspray
on the head.
Oh,
do you wear glasses?
I forgot about the hairspray story. No, I do now. But back then I didn't wear glasses.
Have no permanent damage. Okay.
No, but back in the 80s, back in the 80s,
eyes gave you damage.
Yeah, and I thank my brother so dearly for bringing this up. So back in the 80s, this is a story that actually started on fire. And I honestly think I do have burn damage. I can honestly say I might have it because I am bald now, but there's no scarring. So here I am. And back in the 80s, you remember the 80s was all about hairspray. And we go deer hunting up north in northern Minnesota. And at night, you go looking for the honeys. We're single guys. We're gonna go out and have a good time. But we need to get we need to get dressed up a little bit. You need to get out of the sweat of the deer hunting outfits, the orange blaze and everything. You need to do your hair and everything. And back then I had hair. And I had good hair back then. But I wanted this hair to be nice. Yeah, I wanted this hair to be like crispy. And the more hairspray you put on a hair, it gets crispy. So I'm hairspraying my thing, and I go through an entire can of hairspray on my hair. I got it perfect. I mean, it's nice and perfect. And the entire room smells like hairspray. And my dad walks in, and my dad was a heavy smoker. Now, this room smells like hairspray. We got so much hairspray because there's like 6 of us, but I'm the one that just put it on thick. And my dad, not thinking, lights a cigarette. Open flame with aerosol in the air. And I'm standing right next to him when he does.
Goes up like a bird's nest.
Oh my. I was a redhead before, now I'm a firehead. Because the minute he lit that cigarette, the entire arsenal of hairspray started on fire on my body, head, everything on my head was burning. My dad took my head and had to shove it in the snow pile outside because in November back then, we used to get big snow up there in Minnesota in November. Now they don't do that so much, but back then they did. I'm in this little shack and my head is on fire. And I'm a redhead, so it's like, I'm not saying I'm on fire, I'm on fire. And I look at my dad looks at me and goes, what the hell did you do to your head? I'm like, what did you do to the fire? I'm on fire, what am I going to do? And he takes my dad. My dad was a big man. My dad takes me by the belt, takes my head, rams my head through the door of the shack. So now I got a headache, my head's on fire. And I'm dizzy as hell because he's knocking me out. He takes my entire head and shoves it in the snow pot. Oh, yeah, I got a wedgie. I got it all. He puts my head in, he puts my head in that snow pile. Takes my head out of that snow pile. I have no hair left. Nothing. No eyebrows. No hair on top. No hair around the sides. No hair.
He took the Pepsi challenge.
No hair. I did it live. That's so wrong. That is so wrong for you to say. But yes, I did the Pepsi challenge. Yep, I did the Pepsi challenge. But that brings up the scarring thing. Because I think I have to recant that. Because ever since that day, my dad, I blame him, burnt my hair. And I mean, it was burnt to the scalp. I mean, we were probably shy of maybe a third, maybe just a minor burn on top. It was just red. I mean, my forehead, everything was just red. It wasn't burnt, but it was one of those things that an entire olive, one of those plants, what are those plants? Olive plants? Those little plants that are supposed to help.
Aloe.
Yeah, aloe plant. We took an entire aloe plant to my head. Let's say that aloe plant just broke off everything and they did all that to my head just to cool it down. And my dad said, "You look good. You just got a red head now. So you're not just a redhead, you're a red bald head now." And in the 80s, being bald was not the coolest thing in the world. Let's just say that I did not feel like I had the best hair in the world anymore because I had no hair. So my hair is all gone. And ever since that day, I've never grown hair.
Didn't grow back right?
I've never grown hair. Nope, it never grew after that. After that, I can show you pictures that I've been bald, and I have hair that grows alongside in the back, but I am bald. I'm literally bald all the time now. And ever since that, back in the 80s, since I was about 19, I think I was 19 back then. And I don't grow hair. I have never grown hair after that. So I have to recant that. That could be fire damage right there. I think my brother over there telling me all about it. Yeah, on hairspray.
Yeah,
I did say
wish bald was more acceptable for women. My sister would do that with the hairspray though. She would build her hair. I'd tease her that she needed a building permit. They'd make it like 5 foot sticking up, 5 inches, and then spray it and just keep spraying it. I couldn't do that.
Wow.
I couldn't do it.
See, but that's what I love the hairspray back then. My dad used to complain about the hairspray all the time. There's too much hairspray. Oh, all this hairspray. And we at the time, it was me and my brothers and everybody, and, we're all using hairspray, but I used it really thick. I want mine like crispy, like Tom Cruise kind of hairspray, nice and tight. You ain't touching this. When you touch this, you know that I spent some time on this. Until my dad burned it down. Until he started that fire. And I mean, all you saw when he lit that cigarette was it was all flame. The entire inside was flame. The only thing that stuck on fire was my head. My head stuck on fire.
Oh, yeah,
but the entire room was on fire. Exactly. And I was standing right next to him. Yeah, so that was a redhead. That was a redhead, and that was a red bald head now. Like my dad said, well, it's an improvement. At least you don't have to worry about your hair on top of your head anymore. I looked at him, I said, but it hurts. I mean, it's like I had like sunburn. It was like sunburn on top of my head. And I mean, the next day we would put a bandana on it, and I would go deer hunting the next day. By the time I got done deer hunting that day, went to take that bandana off. Oh, that was like peeling dry skin coming off my head, and I was like, I got sunburn in the middle of the winter.
Guarantee.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, them birds ain't nothing to mess with. That hurts. That hurts.
Yes.
Definitely.
So.
And how old? He was 20.
I was like 21, 22 at the time, I think. 21, 22.
That's a bad time to lose all your hair.
Actually, I was younger than that. Let me rephrase that. I was younger than that. I was like 17, 18, because it was in the 80s. So it was 17, 18. And it was, the big hair for women were still around. And the guys used to use hairspray. Women used hairspray. Hairspray was the thing back then. And, that was, yep. That was, I remember.
About 88.
Yep.
Everybody had
that was
big
it,
hair.
too. Had the big hair, a lot of hairspray. They just didn't understand that hairspray could start on fire.
The potato guns. You ever have one of the potato guns? Where you'd spray you'd have the PVC pipe, put the potato in there, and spray the hairspray. That's the only thing I really used hairspray for, was that. We'd shoot that.
Yeah, I remember shooting the potatoes with the hairspray. But to the folks now, you don't have, do you even have hairspray anymore?
I don't think they do anything aerosol anymore. I don't think so.
No, not like that. I think it became a fire hazard after me. After me, I stopped using it altogether.
Yeah,
well,
I'd say you pretty much ate up your ozone.
My dad said, at least your head can breathe now from all that hairspray you used to put on your head. He used to bring up that story. I just
remember every house you went to, their bathroom door had the big old spot on the back of the door where everybody stood and sprayed their hair, because the bathroom door would always be open because you'd pass out from the fumes. So all of them would leave the door open, and you could always see it on the back of every bathroom door. Yep.
I remember that. Yep. You can see the shallow of all the spray that was on it. It was like lacquer being put on the door.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And them doors go up quick too, by the way. They burn quick too.
I never had a house fire. I can honestly say I've never really had a house fire. My fire incidents are always outside in a car or in a shack, but I've never had a 5-alarm house fire. There is one time where I thought my brother's house was going to be on fire. He used to live not next to us, probably about 5 houses down from where our childhood house was. He bought a house there, and we're sitting there, and it's a bad lightning storm, and we got this lightning that came down, and it cracked. And if you see the lightning and it cracks inside, you know how close it is. And I mean, this thing was like simultaneously cracked. And here we found out, we had the fire department come out. We found out I mean, we ran outside because, I mean, we wanted to see if our house got hit by lightning. Here, my brother's house got hit by lightning, but not his house. What was crazy was it was his entire, they have the old gas meters outside, like old gas meters. And if you ever know what I'm talking about, it's one of those gas meters that are outside where gas goes in it and then it comes out, and then it has a meter in the middle that tells you how much gas is going in it. It's a big old pipe. Well, that thing got connected by the lightning. Well, that started the side of his house on fire. But the good thing was it was raining so hard anyways that fire wasn't going anywhere, but we just had this huge fire coming out, and it just brought back a whole lot of bad memories for me with the oil, because all I'm seeing is just like a flamethrower of fire coming from this thing, and I'm looking at it like, oh my, that's what lightning did. But yeah, that was not really one of those fire story kind of things, but yeah, I mean, we did there's some crazy shit that happened with fire. It started that house. It started on my brother's house on fire, but it was raining so hard that it doused it pretty quick. But that lightning blew the heck out of that oil, out of that gas line. I mean, it blew that up just straight up. That was one of those things. But as in fire, that's about wraps me up for fire. I mean, I can tell you one thing, and I'll tell your audience one thing. Please, don't try none of this stuff. Just don't.
Oh, they probably
take our
already
word
tried
for
it.
it. Yeah, they probably did. You know,
They ain't living
if they do,
if they haven't. If you ever, you know those great big old crab apples, what are those ones that look like, what are they called? They're big, round, and green and bumpy. Hedge apples. You throw them in the fire, and they make like the northern lights. They make the color of the.
wow.
They used to put them in the fires back in the old days, like at Christmas time and stuff, because it made such a pretty flame. But they make real pretty flames.
And you know what's even prettier? That makes a really cool sound, and you can try this anywhere. We still do this with our kids. We call it the fire gods, and we will go around a bonfire. And Dad, right here, he'll do the fire god. I take a clear wrapping paper. I mean, clear Saran wrap. You know, the plastic stuff that you put over, pans and all that. You wrap that around a stick, and you just wrap that all around, nice and tight. And you put that on the fire, and it starts burning, and it starts melting. Well, while it's dripping, because it's plastic, it'll drip.
Yeah.
And while it's dripping, it makes a sound. It makes a and it's all different kinds of sounds, and it turns blue and green, and it just keeps on dripping. And you hold it high enough, and you tell a story about the fire gods, and how the fire gods are going to be good to us now because we're giving it the touch of the oil, the touch of the flame, and everything. We used to go on stories like that, but if you ever want to try something, try that. That is way safer and way cooler.
That. Yeah, I've seen that just from, like you said, having to burn garbage, living out in the middle of nowhere and having to burn garbage. Yeah, styrofoam, plastic, all that makes neat sounds, and yes, it does.
It's really cool sound. The only sound you don't want to hear is the.
Yeah,
you don't want to hear any hissing.
Take cover, stop, drop, and roll.
Take
That's
cover.
It. Safety first.
Stop, drop, and roll.
What was that? Was
Absolutely.
That Fireman Fred? What was that guy's name that they on Living Color that they used to do with Jim Carrey?
Fireman Fred. Jim Carrey used to do Fireman Fred.
Okay, yeah, I was right. All right. I was wondering if I was right on that one.
It's Fireman Fred. He had a burned scalp and everything else. Yeah. Yeah. But we, what started me with fire? Beavis and Butthead. That's what started with me with fire. Fire. And that just rolled into me trying to think.
Pure boredom is what we started with fire. I was young, and I remember we was going to be fire walkers. I think we seen it on the circus or something. Yeah, we was going to be fire walkers. And it wasn't like we had helicopter parents. You went out in the morning, and you wasn't running in and out of the house letting the air out, so you had to stay out all day. When you came in, you had to stay in, especially if it snowed, because you wasn't going to keep changing and coming in, and you just had to be in at 4 o'clock for dinner or before the lights come on. But Yeah.
Yes.
I don't ever remember Mom or Dad saying anything about us playing with gas or anything. I don't remember it.
But see, back then we didn't have what they have now. They didn't have iPhones, YouTube. We didn't have none of that. We had to make up stuff for us.
No, our swimming pool was one of those burn barrels. Yeah, our swimming pool was one of those burn barrels before they put the hose in the bottom, Yeah, that's what we used to. Yeah, I practiced my high dive from there.
That's a whole different topic there. You get me in water, and I mean, I have more stories about water. The exact opposite, but we can save that for another day because there's some stupid stuff.
You'd be a merman as far as being on fire so many times. You'd think you'd be living in the water.
Yeah, and living in the land of 10,000 lakes. Yeah, I mean, with as much fire as I had, you would think that the water would be, but yeah, I did some stupid stuff with water too. I mean, I've done
water, snow sharks.
Yeah.
Snow sharks.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll definitely tell stories about water someday because I have boating stories that,
Yeah, that's when kids cost you the most, when they hit their 20s. That's when they disappoint you the most. That's why I think you should have until the age of 25 to decide if you want to abort a baby or not, abort the child. But my son just made it past that. He ain't gonna. I got to keep him now. But yeah, I think you should have until the age 25. See if they're gonna be any good. See if they're gonna make a difference in the world.
Exactly. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's about fire stories.
Any Bigfoots up there?
There's been a little bit of sightings of something bigger than the size of a foot. I can tell you that. I don't know if it's Bigfoot or whatever it is, but whatever it was big enough to scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
I imagine there's quite a few up in that area.
Yeah.
We'll do the boat and the Bigfoot next episode.
You don't have any dumb shit boat stories like mine where I tried to build a boat by myself and the fucking engines fell off, and that's clearly what happened. And then I said, "Oh shit."
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. We'll bring these subjects in another time. So
definitely, brother.
All right, so we're going to wrap this up. Well, that's cool.
I got a good joke today.
All right, let's get to that. Well, first of all, since Ray is a guest, Ray, do you have a joke for us?
I actually do not. I honestly can tell you that I really do not have. I just don't have jokes. That's one thing I just don't have. Yeah, you can do that.
All right, Sheldon, but you got a joke for us, don't you?
Yes, I got a couple of them here.
All right, give us a couple.
Why was the mushroom invited to the party?
Why was the mushroom invited to the party?
Invited to the party.
Because he's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy. All right, you got another one for us?
Yeah. What goes in hard and dry but comes out soft and wet?
What goes in hard and dry but comes out soft and wet?
Okay.
And don't think dirty.
I have no idea.
Chewing gum.
That's too late.
All right. But I got a chicken in a lot that reads too. You want to hear that one real quick?
Well, I must have missed something there. What was the punchline for what goes in hard and dry and comes out?
Chewing gum.
Chewing gum.
Yeah.
Not what I was thinking.
You was thinking of a Peter. You was thinking of a Peter. I know you were.
After my fire story with the Peter, I mean, that's kind of okay.
All right, and you got one more. You said
one more. A chicken goes into a library, and the librarian says, "Can I help you?" And the chicken goes, "Book, book, 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 book." And she's like, "Okay." And grabbed him 3 books, and the chicken left with his 3 books. The next day, he comes back in with his books, and he says, "Book, book, 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 book." The librarian hands him 3 more books. Next day, he comes back, brings back the books, And he said, book. This time she says, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to see how he reads them so fast. And she follows him back to this pond, and she sees him lay the books down in front of a frog, and the frog goes, read it, read it, read it. I love it. That was awesome. That was awesome. Take it back. Take it back. That's just me.
All right. So we want to thank Call-In Ray for calling in, telling us some fire, random, stupid shit stories.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
That was a good story.
No problem.
And Ray, we're going to definitely have you back because I'm sure you got loads of other random, stupid shit stories.
Oh, I got some random, stupid
we've
stuff.
We've got water.
I really do.
It comes from the...
Oh, yeah.
It comes from the land of 1,000 lakes.
That's what we'll do. We'll go straight from the fire right to the water stories.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
season 1.
Up there.
That was season 2, episode 1. There you go. You can go with the stupid random water stories that I have because I came from the land of 10,000 lakes, and trust me.
There you go.
Woo, if you don't have a stupid water story.
All right.
You go ice fishing with ice holes. There's all kinds of fun there. All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ray, and we'll talk to you in a minute. Shell, what you got for us?
I want you to do you. I'll do me, and we will see you or talk to you again in a little while.
Yes, you do you, we'll do us. Our season 1 season finale. I want to thank all the listeners, especially those in New Zealand, Brazil, Switzerland, and send us an email, kensnowstudio@gmail.com. Make a comment on the shows. Give us some random shit stories. We'll have Ray call in again and tell us some stories. We'll have other people call in. We'll see you next time on Random Stupid.
That was pretty good.